You will recall that sedimentary rock is composed of sediments like mud or sand or pebbles that are carried by water and deposited in layers, one layer above the other. Sedimentary rock is a very important part of the geologic record. Our question in this session is, why isn't there more sedimentary rock? As you can see in this photo, there are places with sedimentary rock many thousands of feet thick, but there are reasons for asking why there isn't more sedimentary rock. Modern processes form sediment much too fast to explain the ancient sediments. There should be much more if they were all those millions of years. You can look at detailed features in sediments and figure out how fast they must have formed. And those features in sediments indicate they must have formed up to 10 million times faster than radiometric dates would indicate. There seems to be too little sedimentary rock for the conventional time scale. The line in graph B indicates sediment accumulation rates in meters per thousand years measured at different time scales. The place at the left where it's almost vertical, those are measurements made today under storm conditions or flash floods. Those measurements are made over a few hours or a few days. That indicates how sediment accumulates today in the modern world. If you go farther to the right, you notice those measurements are made over like 10,000 years or 5 million years or 10 million years. So how do you do that? Well, obviously they weren't actually measured. Those are estimates based on the radiometric time scale. Those are estimated accumulation rates in the rock record based on the radiometric time scale. What this graph says is that sediment gets deposited very fast in modern storm or flash flood conditions, whereas these estimates from the rock record indicate sediment accumulating extremely slowly. Why is there such a difference between what happens today and what is measured in the rock record? So we can see that sediment accumulation rates estimated from the geologic record are seriously out of sync with what happens in the modern world. Now, that's kind of odd, since geologists use the modern world as a way to understand the ancient world. There seems to be too little sedimentary rock for the conventional time scale. There is not nearly enough sediment to account for 541 million years. Geologists understand that this is the case, and they have a theory to explain this. The question is their theory correct? This diagram illustrates their theory. In the middle of the diagram is a picture that represents the sediments that are found in a certain location. So you have a layer at the bottom that has lots of animal burrows in it, and then you have a little bit of erosion right at the top of that layer. Then another layer and a layer above that with more burrows, and then two more layers. That's your actual data, but that's too little sediment. And so a hypothesis to explain this was given in a published geologic paper, as you see on the left. They're assuming that a lot of sediment was deposited, then most of it was removed by erosion. Then some more sediment was deposited, and most of it was removed by erosion. And this happens over and over again. Many episodes of erosion removing a lot of sediment to explain why you don't have enough sediment. Well, my problem with that is there's only one episode in there where you actually have evidence for erosion. All the rest of the episodes of erosion are assumed. They're imaginary. If you go to the right, that's what I think is a better hypothesis to explain this. The only erosion occurred is what you actually see evidence for. The rest of the record is what there actually was. That's your data, and we should stick with the data. Much of the sediment has evidence of rapid deposition. You can see in the structures that are in the sediment, like we see here in these pictures. You can get an estimate of how fast it was deposited, and much of it was deposited very fast. In some formations that have been studied carefully, processes that can produce the sedimentary structures require sediment accumulation rates 2,000 to 10 million times faster than radiometric dates provide. There is a lot of sedimentary rock, but not nearly enough for 541 million years. In summary, there is only a small fraction of the amount of sedimentary rock that there should be if there had been those 541 million years. I suggest that the best explanation is that this rock was mostly produced during the global flood very rapidly.